Patrick.
No, I gotta behave myself.
No, you don't.
Yes, I.
Or maybe when we're taping.
It's always good to see you, Betsy. You're the best. I'd like to call to order the September 25th, 2025 meeting of the Binghamton Local Development Corporation. Let's put on the record congratulations to the Rumble Ponies who
Pulled it out.
we were at that first game on Sunday, and it was pretty grim, but they really came back on the road, won 2 tough games, and they're the champs. So
we are the champs.
I want to be this. I wanted to be a sportscaster when I was a kid, but it just didn't work out.
There's still time.
And then, exactly. That's anyway. So you've got in front of you the minutes from July 24th and August 21st.
You don't have them in front of you, but
Oh.
we're even. Apologize.
You've seen them.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you very much, Frank. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any questions, corrections, comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, great. Thank you. Rachel, the floor is yours.
So we actually have 2 financial reports to go through. Our July and August. We do have them in your packets. So we'll start on page 4 of the July report for the restricted account. The end of month balance in restricted was $529,036.66. Everybody paying right along, no problems there with the receivables. On page 6 for the UDAG account, the ending balance in UDAG was $346,326.47. Everybody paying right along with UDAG. On page 8 for the unrestricted account, nothing major, just various interest income, Boscov's rent, and a sponsorship or something. But yeah, nothing major going on there. No activity in the triad account, no activity in the branch account, and that brings the delinquency percentage for all loans not designated as non-performing at 0.24.
That's an option.
Oh, yes, you're right. Sorry, it's an option. The unrestricted. So moving on to the August account, this closes, or the August report, this closes out the year for Bldc 2024-2025. Hello.
Do you guys want to pull up? Do you got a seat?
Come on over here.
Yeah.
Hello.
So on page 4 of the August report, the end of month balance in the restricted account was $532,035.48. No delinquencies. On page 6 for the UDAG account, the end of month balance was $356,385.89. No delinquencies there. Let's see, in the unrestricted account, again, nothing major going on. Mayor's Veterans Initiatives, no activity. Triad, no activity. Grant account, no activity. So at the end of the fiscal year, the delinquency percentage of all loans not designated as non-performing was 0.2.
Thank you, Rachel. Any questions, comments? Have to do anything, right? You don't have to act. That's just okay. Moving right along, there's no old business. We have 3 items of new business, and they're all important. The first one is 26-1, a resolution of the BLDC authorizing the creation of a micro enterprise and special economic development activities micro grant program.
Yes, so with you guys authorized a number of years ago at this point, a marketing program using our COVID CDBG money for economic development that was designed to help people hire. It was during the time when most people were saying it was very difficult to hire, especially in the service industry. So we put that program together to respond to that need. We did not really get a lot of interest in that, so we ended up with money left over that we had not allocated to anything. Exploring what the available options were for economic development and how that would be tied to COVID, because that was a requirement of that money. We looked at doing micro enterprise grants, which is a specific term of art with CDBG. And it was really successful. We were able to help locate LaRue Simmons with Stellar Human downtown. We are working with Winderlust, the new wine bar, to locate at the old Satria space at 7th Street. Couple of other small allocations just to help people that had different needs. Again, we had to all be connected to COVID, so it was either filling storefronts that were vacant or helping people that could demonstrate a direct impact in their earnings from COVID. So that was really just a pilot program that helped us realize that there's a lot of demand for this, and also that this program is flexible enough to meet the needs that we're seeing in the city. Micro enterprise is defined as 5 or fewer employees. These are very small businesses, sole proprietors. And so having that pilot be successful, we looked at whether this was something that we could continue working on. I know one thing we talked about in this body is that our restricted account is hard to spend. There's a lot of requirements on the way that we can do loans out of the restricted account. We're going to talk about an opportunity for that today. And we, as a body, like to reserve $500,000 in that for the purpose of making loans. We end up with money that's kind of above and beyond that from principal and interest. So we're looking at creating this revolving program that as money comes back into the restricted account over that $500,000 limit that we like to have available to make loans that come in, could be designated for these micro enterprise grants. So Rachel has put together the program, working with Steve to understand all of the HUD guidelines, housing and urban development from the federal government, and just creating this program. Right now, there's about $30,000 above the $500,000. We earn about $50,000 in principal and interest a year. So this is something that will just continue to revolve over time and be a flexible tool that we can use to support really small businesses and other activities that are eligible under CDBG and HUD. That's the long and the short of it, but happy to take any questions.
Will we be able to see like how you're evaluating the companies that are asking for the micro grant?
Yeah, is that in the program guidelines?
It's sort of in the program guidelines, so it's pretty flexible, and we did that on purpose, just because, you know, people come to us for like all sorts of things, from like working capital to like wanting to put up a sign. So we wanted to have the money, as long as it fits within like the CDBG HUD guidelines, be as flexible as possible. And the idea would be that like we would evaluate on a case-by-case basis based on like how well it fits with the you know, the goals for economic development in the area of the city, and how the readiness of the project and that sort of thing. All of that is listed in the guidelines, but it's not so specific that like it would, you know, if someone like wants working capital, they would not be eligible, or if they want like a sign, they would not be eligible.
Gotcha. No, great program. Thank you.
And all of the grants have to ultimately come to the Bldc full board
Yeah.
for approval too. So this is creating the fund basically that allows us to, gets us the applications out there, and then anyone who'd be actually awarded would be vetted by staff and then, you know, receive full Bldc approval.
Yeah, and this is something that we've historically used our finance committee to do kind of initial vetting when we've had other grant programs, and then brought it to the board for approval after their recommendations.
The guidelines are in the packet that went out last night that I'm reading right now.
That Robert has vetted.
Scrutinized.
Yes. Any other questions, comments?
All right, so I'll throw the ones on at the end. All right, so you said it's pretty flexible. So what types of things can they do with the and is it a grant or a loan?
It's a grant.
It's a grant, so no payback.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
So I mean, basically anything that's allowable under the CDBG guidelines, they can do with it.
Okay, so because of that, I can't do an ERR for the overall program. I'll have to do ERRs for each individual program, but most of them are probably going to be exempt unless they're doing something weird. The main thing is going to kick in a longer term ERR, just so you're aware, and the selection committee may take this into account. Capital improvements, those will take a little bit longer. Then you're starting to build, and that kicks in sort of a higher level environmental review. But
And these are pretty small grants in terms
Yeah.
of like capital improvements. The max grant is 5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and this is RL. This is kind of okay. It's kind of weird. It's like an RL on an RL. It's like an RL square. Kind of interesting. way of doing. So the eligibility, we had talked about this before. They do not have to be low income, but we're gonna restrict it to they either hire an employee or they're serving a low, okay. So that's gonna be the key. So each one could be unique and different. Absolutely, the
one
owner
will
can
be
qualify
unique
if they're
and
low
different,
income.
yes.
Okay.
And Steve, we're building off of what we already did with the COVID money.
Yeah.
So the only difference is that there's no tie to COVID anymore.
Okay.
It's not that specific.
Yeah, so there has to be a low income aspect to it, either owner is low income.
Yep,
They're
yeah, same
hiring
as,
or retaining
same
a
as how
low
we-
income person, and they just need one person for that. Or they're providing a service that either helps low income people or is providing a low income service area. We've gone over this before, that it depends on what they're doing, and it's kind of a subjective thing, like, we've talked about this, so if it's like they're providing medical equipment, we're like, all right, someone's needing medical equipment, it's more likely to be disabled, so therefore they will qualify for that, but. All right, so you got the definition of that, okay, I think I'm good here.
Thanks, Steve.
Make a motion to approve resolution 26-1.
Motion?
Thank you, Mayor. Second from Susan, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Terrific. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Rachel. Sarah. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Joel. Thank you, everybody. All right, the next one on the agenda for this morning, if I can find it, is a resolution of the Binghamton Local Development Corporation approving the use of revolving loan funds for a line of credit for Soulful
Foods.
LLC in an amount not to exceed $72,000 for equipment and working capital.
So, Soulful Foods is a company that's based out of the, Boone County Farmers Market. So if you ever go there on a Saturday morning, they are selling probably the best food we've ever had. It's a husband and wife team. They are looking to locate at the former site of Fit Kitchen in 20 Holly Street on the west side of the building. It's a pretty small storefront. They really just want to do lunch takeout. It's not going to be a full service establishment, but this is something that we've seen be really successful. Food-based businesses that are coming out of the farmers market that have built a successful following. We saw this with Spice of India on the south side, and now Soulful Foods, and there's been a number of success stories coming out of that commercial kitchen. So what we're doing is a little bit creative, and I'm going to ask Susan to explain kind of how we broke this down. But supporting them with some hard costs up front just for the build out of their space, and then a line of credit for working capital. They've asked us for 2 full months of expenses as if they weren't going to earn any money at all. We assume that that is not the case, and they will start to earn money. But it enables them to have that cushion for the first 2 months as they're getting operations up and running without us having to put out that full amount and encumber them with all of that debt up front. Did I get that?
That's exactly right. So basically, looking at this as a big number, we don't want to put them in a position immediately where the cash flow to repay is too big and, set them up to fail. So the intent of giving them the 30,000 to begin with, again, like Sarah said, was to get them operational. And then any draws thereafter would go through Rachel. Basically, the way that I looked at it would be like a construction loan. So when a bank gives a construction loan, in order to get paid, you have to show what you're buying and what you're doing. And they're going to have to do that even to get the 30,000. So, this is not where we're just saying, hey, here's $72,000, have a good time. Because that is not, that's not what we want, and that's not what they need. So that is why we have structured it as such. Recognizing, of course, there is, always risk when you're talking about the restaurant industry, but, given their track record in the farmers market, and the space that they're going into with the foot traffic that they have, the committee did recommend to come to the board with this.
We are still working with Soulful Foods, so you'll note that this is a not to exceed. They have been talking with Pursuit, talk about them, they're a community development finance institution. They have a lot of flexible programs. So we would like them to have some part of this loan actually come from Pursuit and not from the BLDC. But we've authorized the full amount just because at the end of the day, these banks still have really high underwriting criteria, even for the programs that are designed to help people who are kind of up and coming. So I think conversations have been really positive to date. The nice thing about Pursuit is even if they get something as small as $5,000 from Pursuit, they're eligible for all of their technical assistance programs by being a customer. So we'd really like them to have
Some
that
sort of
support.
liaison with them, absolutely.
Right. And I know they're also looking at Empire State Development's New York Main Street Loan Program, which again, is specifically designed for exactly this type of entrepreneur. And hopefully we'll be able to make that work, and it'll lower the BLDC's obligation, but this just kind of sets us up to be prepared for when that happens. And then I'll take this down to City Council in a few weeks for.
So, the loan committee had a lot of trepidation about this loan. It is a lot of money. They really don't have a lot of assets. They really don't have any collateral. Ron called me yesterday. He expressed some of these concerns as well. He said that, a lot of businesses in this area and this particular space have not done well. And he has a more history than I have with other food establishments that haven't made it. He was concerned about the amount. And one things we talked about was traffic. You can't park over there. And you said there's a lot of foot traffic. And he said, so I told him that, and he said, they don't stop. All the people that go to the arena don't stop at the fest, to get the food. There, they just go or go somewhere else. And I guess, and across the street, the pizza place, Zona's, whatever, that has been a rough corner too. And why people have had issues. And it hasn't made it, I don't know all those reasons. So he was just very concerned about the amount that we were considering.
Yeah, and I definitely think we want to lower our amount on this if we can get them in with a bank.
Do they have is there a way for them to raise more money? Friends and family, do we get the equipment as collateral once they buy it outright?
Yes.
Yes, we're
Yeah.
gonna collateralize our equipment, and they do own their house. I don't really have any interest in owning
I
their house,
understand,
but
it's very hard to tell people to leave their own.
I also think one of the reasons that we wanted to move forward with this loan was because there was a loan request from Phenomenal on the other side of 20 Holly that we did not proceed with. And they were able to figure it out, and they've gone on to be really successful. And that's something that frankly, we would have liked to have been a part of and kind of ease that transition from them. They're another one where they had a successful establishment in Johnson City. They were building off of kind of their existing customer base and were able to transition that into a brick and mortar. I also think one of the differences for this is that there isn't other Korean food options in downtown Binghamton. So they are kind of cornering a unique market. They also have access to all of the foot traffic from Government Plaza for lunch, which I do think that business is picking up.
And it's not a sit down,
It's not, it's takeout. Yeah.
So people have the food ready and people just go in and take it. Will they have any prepackaged stuff or anything?
Yeah, so what they do, at least at the farmer's market, is they have trays and then basically they package it as people come in and ask for different food. And then they do some like kimchi prepackaged that they sell as a side.
And how do you define successful for the other restaurant?
I mean, they're still operational and I eat there all the time, but.
Okay, I just didn't know, like, are they making money? Are they
Yeah,
negative
They are
deficit
making
for
money.
working capital? Are they?
We have some like anecdotal knowledge that they are making money. And also,
Okay.
I mean, we look at them out our windows and there's people in
Right.
and out of there all day long.
How long has Phenomenal been in operation?
Couple years.
2021.
And they're actually in the process, part of the reason that this conversation came back up is they're in the process, it's two partners and one partner is buying out the other partner to
Okay.
own it as a sole proprietor. And we've seen them make physical investments in their space. The restaurant industry is always tricky.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know. How long is the lease?
I have not seen the like final terms of the lease.
Do we know what the lease payment is?
The lease payment was around $2,000 a month.
2,000.
These folks have quite a following, and if they have a bricks and mortar place somewhere, there's a likelihood that people will go there to get their food.
I think the other thing to keep in mind here is that the restaurant industry is increasingly pivoting to DoorDash, Grubhub. A lot of the profits are made on that side of the business. And this type of business is uniquely positioned to do that type of takeout because that's what they're doing all day long. And so if those orders are coming in, we've heard this from, I know Despina's does a lot of Grubhub and DoorDash. Spice of India on the south side does a lot of takeout and delivery. So there is a market for that specifically with the students. If you have
How many units a student? housing do we have in the city? Just
Downtown.
Just 4,000. I mean, so that,
You
I-
get students
And
from
then that
UDC.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Campus,
That's where I think the draw is going to be.
Right.
It's not going to be a traditional restaurant sit down to
With a
Sarah's
lot of
point.
overhead.
Right.
With the overhead, right? I mean, so one of the things when I first looked at it is, certainly they don't need all this money up front,
Correct.
which is why we structured it the way we did. So, 30 would be, but before the 30 is given, we have to have everything in front of us and reviewed. So
Right.
we are gonna take this step by step. I know the big nut is a lot, but that's not the intent, is to give them that right away.
I know we had talked about giving the young man money at Chroma's. Now I just see it changed to Petunias. Is that still the same person with a
No.
different name? So
It's not.
he
no.
didn't quite make it there,
Correct.
which is too bad. He had great stones.
Yeah.
And I will say that my understanding on most of the businesses downtown that have not been successful is that it is not a monetary or a lack of success in their ability to make money. There are
Other
other
factors.
issues that are kind of behind the
Okay.
scenes that are contributing to things not working out.
Yeah.
We continue to work with Leighton. He's making some pivots that we think are smart.
That we
in
wanted
the-
him to make prior to this.
So he's learning slowly.
He is learning slowly.
He's a young man.
He is, and we want to be supportive of him. And I think everybody in the community has had kind of a little piece of Leighton's story, and we want to, help continue that and help be supportive of him. He's a City of Binghamton resident. I don't know if you see him at the farmer's market, I really recommend getting an egg and cheese Danish. It will change your life. Unfortunately, I am now going there every Sunday. But he's pivoting into the wholesale market. And what we're trying to do right now is match him up with some Binghamton businesses that are sourcing pastries. Oto is a good example of that.
Petunias potentially, so.
So just from a process standpoint here, because this also requires city council approval, the amount, if it's different because of this other financing that would go to city council in several weeks, could be a lot, not necessarily less than this, but the final amounts could be changed. And so if what I would be supportive of, and I want to hear more perspective, is allowing the full amount with the understanding that we're hopeful that other sources will be in there. And then ultimately it has to be a resolution through city council. So we have
Regardless.
some time to fine tune this exact number, which hopefully, and we think could be potentially lower than what the total number is in here.
That would make me feel more
Yeah.
comfortable.
I think one thing
Agreed.
we struggle with, and Susan, you can speak to this, is it becomes a chicken or an egg.
I get
It's,
it.
we don't want to commit until somebody else is committed, and somebody else doesn't want to commit until we've committed. So we were looking at this as it's a non-binding letter of intent, and that's written in the language of the resolution.
Right.
Because if this starts to not make sense,
Then we can, this is not a commitment letter as in bank speak, okay?
Yeah.
So,
I'm okay with that.
yep, so that's where we started our conversation in the loan. committee, is we are not, in any way, shape or form, putting this pen to paper saying that we're gonna give you this full amount. So this gives, when Sarah said creative, I think it's more protective is the way I look at it, is that we would try and protect us, but also help them.
And have you discussed friends and family with them too, to see if they have any?
Yeah, we discussed all potential sources
Okay.
of the owner equity, and came up with a number that,
Owner equity loan,
They're
yeah,
comfortable
whatever.
I mean, they have agreed to equity.
yes, 10%.
10%.
Yeah,
So
they're
I mean, that is a structure of any pursued SBA loan that would be or traditional bank loan that would be required anyway. So they have to have a hand in the game, otherwise we wouldn't do it. In pursuit, I will follow up. Are they speaking with Nicole?
Yes.
All right, so
I think actually they ended up speaking with Carrie.
okay, all right, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
chat after, because I just want to see the viability of that and let you know.
So BLEC action really just allows us to move to the next stage.
Yep.
Essentially, okay.
I'll just say, I think this is great because there's a lot of predatory loans out there
Yeah.
for startups. And so this actually is a great way to ensure that a
Simply-
business stays open after receiving what they need to move forward.
Yeah.
With that said, I also think that, it's an investment. It looks like an investment.
correct.
It acts like an investment. So I like that we will have equity in the equipment. I think that's a good thing, certainly needed. It'd be interesting to see in the future if there's other partnerships that would benefit the city, like working with fines or anything like that, where more people are benefiting from a single action like this, but I think it's great. It's good work.
Yeah, and not to belabor that point, Eric, but the predatory lending is a real problem.
Just here.
People come to us after they've already gotten predatory loans and there's really
Too
nothing
late.
that we can do. And we've had people where we've taken longer than they wanted us to take. And they have made the decision to go with one of those lenders. And again, it just becomes basically impossible for us to support them. And this is an issue we've discussed with the Small Business Administration. They're seeing more and more that people are going to online banks and they're not supporting community banks. They're not keeping their money local. And so this is also an effort by us to get them to engage with the local bank in addition to us to keep all of that money here and circulating in our community and helping them build long-term banking relationships.
Love it. I'll make a motion to approve.
I have some questions. Okay, so the regulatory side of it. How many people are in the business? Just the two?
Two.
Okay. Do you know if they're low income?
They are low income and they are doing 4 jobs. They're creating 4 jobs.
Okay,
How
so
how do
we
we
can,
define low income?
low income is based off your household size, but you must be below 80% of the area median income based on your household size.
Right, and what is that here?
It depend, for 2 people, I think it's like 50 or something.
Okay.
Thousand.
Thank you.
Okay, so it sounds like they also would qualify for the $5,000 microloans or micro grants.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
horse before the cart, but yeah, that would definitely be a conversation.
Okay, and so it's working capital and equipment, but not construction costs.
I mean, very minimal, just like cosmetic stuff.
I think people qualify that under, what do they call it, the repairs, upkeep. We might be able to qualify that under upkeep. Yeah, maintenance. We may be able to qualify that under maintenance. I can get an ERR going, for this, assuming there's no major construction, but let's have a dialogue in case it changes. And then if it does, I might have to update that. Sounds like they qualify micro enterprise. They're gonna qualify just on themselves.
Mhm.
So that they themselves qualify as a low income business. The service area would also qualify, so. Okay, so that's it. I can get an ER going for it today.
Okay,
Thanks, Steve. I think we have a motion from there.
Let me get a second.
we need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Frank. Any other discussion, comments? All in favor? Aye. Thank you all very much. This is, I think this is really an important project, so.
And I appreciate the conversation because these are all really good questions and ones that we are asking.
Even if I was on the committee.
Doesn't
We
matter.
appreciate that Ron was able to weigh in.
Yeah,
It's not
absolutely. I mean,
easy.
all valid.
He called me right away.
The third item of business is a resolution of the BLDC authorizing the president to enter into a real estate option agreement with Rehabilitation Support Services LLC for 10 to 12 West State Street and 445 State Street, as described and attached here too.
So it's essentially just the assignment of the option we already approved to RSS. We had in the option agreement the ability to assign. They were able to move forward with having RSS take the option earlier. So we're just instead of doing the assignment, we just changed the terms of the option. The terms are all the same. We're still starting with that 6 months from when we did the original approval. This was just cleaner and easier than trying to do the assignment on the back end. But it's all the same terms, everything's the same.
The sale price is already, I mean, that is set.
So
I know that in the packet Rachel said that's,
it's
highlighted, but
based on a third-party appraisal. I just don't have the appraisal. But it was done by New York State. So it's and that falls within our sale terms for our guidelines, that is.
Any other questions? Can I have a motion? Motion. Thank you, Eric. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor. You just got ahead in front. Frank, there he goes. Yeah. Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
excuse me, everyone, I gotta get the roads here.
Okay, thank you, Frank.
Hi, Frank.
Mayor has informed me that he doesn't have any comments.
Oh,
Do you
good.
have any comments?
Will do. So just quick update, I will try my very best, but have I ever been brief in my life? Boscov is going along just fine. We had a couple of delays in ordering the equipment that you all authorized over the summer, but we just got those resolved yesterday, thankfully. So proceeding with that $250,000 purchase of those rooftop units. I've been informed that we have the 80% construction drawings waiting to get to 100, and then the entire project will be bid out. How it's going to be bid is that everything will come back as a menu of options. So we basically have the scope as we've defined it to date. We assume that scope is going to cost more than the amount of money we have. So the idea is that we bid out the full project, and then we work with Bldc and Boscov's to prioritize all of the items that are on that list, figure out what fits into our budget. One thing that we've committed to is using the money that they're paying us as a lease for maintenance cost, upkeep, or to make more capital investments over time. So looking at that menu of options, we'll figure out what we're actually going to pursue next as part of the phase 2 of the $10 million project in the next few years. And what can really be, what is maybe optional, what is maybe a nice to have and not a need to have. And again, these are all improvements that we're making in the building. I'm very, Sam Pomerantz from Bldc has been great at kind of outlining how different improvements that they are proposing benefit the long-term use of the building. For instance, we're talking about, should the elevator go to the basement? Is there, how does that potentially help us or hurt us in the long term if Boscov's is not the tenant there? What decisions are being made now that might benefit or not benefit us in the future, and how do we weigh in on those to make sure that the asset has the most usability down the line?
And if it doesn't go to the basement, how much does it cost to get it to the basement?
Exactly. And what is the utility of that? Is there another
Right.
way to access it?
What's in the basement?
It's just storage, and there is a freight elevator that already goes down, so it's a question
Oh,
of,
that's
does
good.
there need to be a passenger elevator?
Okay, just logistics.
Yes, and there is, the way that they're proposing it right now, there would be 2 sets of vertical circulation, which it all comes down to price. But that would enable us to potentially section off the property at a later date if it made sense to divide it and create 2 spaces. So we have a couple of options hopefully never, but even 20 years down the line, if Boscov's were to not be the tenant, gives us kind of maximum flexibility as the owner of that property.
It's an important feature depending on what it costs.
That's exactly correct.
It's all about what it costs.
Yes.
Has Boscov shared with us, since the garage is fully operational, how their foot traffic has been or sales? I'm just curious. I would think that it would bring more people in with the ease of parking.
I think as it relates to sales, we'll get the hard data on that,
Yeah.
with the new lease structure, we get their sales numbers and.
Your
that's
banker
shared
would
with-
like to look at.
Yeah, the Bldc, so, summers are always, I think, a low period for foot traffic,
What- Yeah, I happened to be in
Oh,
there the
and
other
the
day and
manufacturing.
it was
Yes.
busy. So I mean, yeah,
Yes.
it was during the day, so.
I think the summer was hard. Getting these rooftop units is crucially important to keeping their summer foot traffic up.
Yeah, it was just,
It's a little warm in
little,
there.
little
this summer.
toasty in the men's department still, yeah.
So that will be next summer. That's what that's why we prioritize this as the first thing that needed to get done.
They pay all their energy costs, right?
They do indeed.
Thank God.
Which long term, again, we're making improvements that will lower those, which is great for their operations.
Awesome.
Keep Boscov's in Binghamton. DRI is going well. Our next local planning committee is next Wednesday. I know the mayor made an announcement. We got about $119 million worth of projects, 55 applications. It's great. We have a ton of options to choose from, a lot of really great projects. People who are looking to buy the building that they've lived in, people that are new to the community who are starting new businesses. It's exactly what we wanted to see out of the DRI. So we'll start working through all of those applications. Again, it's a totally public process. Anyone is welcome to attend our.
Also Yom Kippur.
Huh?
It's also Yom Kippur, Jewish holiday.
On Wednesday?
Yeah.
It's bad timing by us. We should talk to Mackenzie about that. Good flag, Betsy. Thank you. We will be having the working session with the LPC the day before, so hopefully Mackenzie can participate in that one. Any other questions on DRI? Okay. As it relates to downtown and kind of what we're talking about with the environment, we've seen a lot of new businesses opening or planning to open in the last few weeks. Washington Street is essentially fully The retail spaces are fully active. The only exception is Salvation Army, which is currently on the market. And the mayor and I had a chance to tour that and look at the property. So we're really excited about what the potential possibilities are there.
What's it look like?
It's amazing there. It's really interesting.
There's really two kind of different things. There's one building which is kind of a large chapel space, very high ceilings, you know, could easily be a performing arts venue. And then the other building is more split up and I think could be, you know, maybe not easily, but an adaptive reuse for residential there.
Are
There's
they
also-
separate buildings?
Yes, I believe so.
They're technically separate buildings, but they've been connected over time and they share a basement.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, it's a labyrinth, certainly. I mean, it's an old building, but it's large space and you're next door to a parking garage. So whether it's a combination of residential, whether it's somebody, I mean, it's a unique type of building for sure. But I think the asking price is fair and they understand that it's not, wouldn't fit everyone's needs, but I think the location and the fact that again it's next door to parking for any type of business would be ideal. Yeah.
There's people that are interested in it, right?
What's that?
There's people interested in that.
Yeah, I
we've
mean,
been in conversations with some
okay.
people.
Yeah, I just said that.
What's the asking price?
700,000.
For both, I mean.
Yeah, for
one.
the whole, yeah.
So is the address two addresses or is it?
I think it's one. I'd have to check because it's not two physical parcels.
Oh,
It just
all
at one
right.
time was
I got
two
you.
separate
But it
buildings.
could
and then
be.
Yes, they could
If
split them
some,
back up.
if you wanted to, is,
Yes. And Salvation Army is moving into their new space on Walnut Street with the city supported, and I think their mobile operations have been going really well. And they're really happy about how it all ended up and
Washington Street, very pleased with the last several months. So that's been a win for the city.
that's awesome.
I had 2 vacant storefronts on Washington Street fill in the last few months. It's really exciting. So generally, I think business downtown is great and we'll get Clinton Street going in our other commercial districts and I think things are positive for the city of Binghamton right now.
What's the update on the State Street, Binghamton Plaza?
Basically, lawyers are talking.
Yes.
For the first
Right,
time.
right,
In a
right.
good way.
Okay.
So I'm very, very confident that we won the case,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm confident that we're in the red zone. I wouldn't say we're at the 1 yard line here, but we're close. And
That's a football analogy.
Tush
yes,
push.
that's right. Yes, exactly.
American.
But Bob and our outside counsel who've been doing the eminent domain procedure are talking and you know, to the point now of looking at any outstanding mortgage issues on the property, any outstanding tax liens on the property. So we're in as better shape than kind of we've ever been in terms of them being at the table, which they are now for the first time.
Is that an opportunity zone?
I think technically, opportunity zones have come and gone for the last few
Mhm.
administrations. So
But
I've
now they're
never-
back.
Now they're back. My understanding is that the benefit of those is that it helps you reduce capital gains tax.
There's a lot of benefits, there's a lot of cons, but I was just asking if that space was considered one.
It's usually when I look at all of the different overlays of zones, that one is in it when it comes to disadvantaged communities, when it comes to environmental justice areas.
It
so
either is
I can double
designated
check.
or not, so.
Yeah, I know the first ward is, so I would
Oh,
imagine
okay.
that the north side is as well, but I could double check that.
So one of the things is that the city was successful at getting an Empire State Development strategic planning and feasibility study for the Binghamton Plaza, specific to economic development opportunities, market analysis. So we will have a, you know, very, very sizable, it's a $150,000 plan which for a, you know, plan and economic development thing is pretty big, to be able to tell us a matrix of exactly all of the federal and state programs and incentives that are available, what you know, industries are looking there, and then, you know, pre-development activities that will make it easier for a builder or an economic development project to have confidence in going there. And so that will be, you know, like has happened in other major sites across Broome County. We're now kind of putting a regional magnifying glass on the Binghamton Plaza site.
And we're getting national firms who are sending in proposals for that, which is really interesting. I think it's gonna be a lot of work. I think we're gonna have like over 20 responses from the feedback that I've gotten.
Wow.
And just to be clear, that's not like 20 development proposals, that's
20
engineering, planning, economic development firms that are interested in doing this work on behalf of the city.
Good clarification.
Because they get paid for
Yes.
it.
Oh, Betsy.
A lot of money.
It's all right. Thank you.
The only other thing I'll say is that the mayor got some good shout outs for an entire half inning of a ponies broadcast on
That's correct.
yes,
That's correct.
so the city's getting lots of good airtime. Thank you, Mayor, for making that happen.
I was watching the Ponies game on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and I thought the broadcast was going great. So I emailed the broadcasters. Well, it turns out that they knew and were close friends with our deputy mayor here, and so they gave Binghamton a bunch of shout outs, and it was a fun little half inning.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good. You pretty love here.
I was not, but it was like I was. Let's just put it that way. So it was good. It's good.
It's great. Great.
We've had the last 15 months in the city of Binghamton. The Black Bears have won 2 commissioner cups. We had the AA boys basketball state championship. The Rumble Ponies have won the Eastern League championship.
Wow,
There's never been a run like this in Binghamton sports.
it's great.
On that note,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, anybody have any other questions, comments, concerns?
Motion for adjournment.
Awesome.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
I'll second. We are adjourned.